Guys, posting another video. This one I think is gonna really blow your mind. A lot of people hit me up off my last video where I spoke about identity graphs and using your own data. So many people didn't know you could actually use your own data in ads, which is just crazy. I want to share with you a session I just had with a few of our clients. For those that don't know, we have a advertising tech company called the Ads Lab. Essentially, we process over 1.9 trillion records of data every single day, and we use it to make Facebook ads smarter and TikTok ads and whatever. There's a ton of cool stuff. If you want to check it out, there's a link down below. But I want to share with you a session we just had where what we did essentially is I showed them how they can 10x the power of custom audiences across Facebook, TikTok, Google, whatever. A lot of people don't know that you can do this, right? So this is something that I almost wasn't going to post, but I think that so many people are going to benefit. The video is about an hour long, so strap in. It's unedited, so there might be, a little bit of swearing or something. I don't know. What I will say is so many people I see these days are saying, hey, Facebook's dead, or they're saying, don't use broad interests, use interests, or don't use broad interests, sorry. Use lookalikes, or don't use lookalikes, use interests, or, everyone's just kind of flipping and flopping around. So I think this is going to clear up a lot of stuff. And yeah, hope you enjoy it. Check it out. Again, if you want to do this, there's a link down below. Book in a demo and try out my tech. It's super cool. I've worked really hard on it. Level up. All right, peace. Enjoy the video. I've got IDs coming through. As you can see here, they're coming through live. So that's looking all good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go head over to the spanner icon. And I'm going to go to integrations, manage, create new integration. Okay, I'm going to call this is for client exec upgrades webhook. Okay, and I'm going to go instant webhook. I'm not going to go Google Sheets or Shadow Mail, instant webhook. And then for the website, exec. Oh, he's going to let me go through all of these. 1 second. There's a lot of sites on the network. 1 second, guys. You guys won't have to do this because you don't have that many sites. Because I've got like the super admin enough to go through all of them. Let me just type in exec upgrades. Perfect. Okay. Pick our site. We're going to go all unique contacts. There will still be duplicates in here. We made it where there wasn't duplicates. And what happened was it started to block a lot of devices. So just do all unique contacts, but it's still going to have some duplicates in there just because a lot of people want to see what pages people come from. So we enable the pixel to fire each time. So you click on here, enabled, and we're going to save and go to step 2. So I'll just wait for that to load up. All right. So now we're going to go into our Zapier account. We're going to go to create new Zap. Now, this particular client wants to be able to upload this to Facebook, right? He wants to have better Facebook audiences and see costs drop. Okay. So what we're going to do is I've actually created this thing here, and it's called the Ads Lab Audience Match Template. Okay. So this is just all the fields you need to get the highest match rate on Facebook. Okay. So just grab this and make a copy. I've actually put it in Circle, but I'll give you guys a link to show you how to go into it. So I'm just going to call this exec upgrades. All right, so I've got all my fields there. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'll put URL there, but I don't actually need it for the audience creation, but I'll still put it in there. All right. So what I'm going to do is, if you want to add any fields there, this is the minimum that you need in order to have a high match rate on Facebook. So if you want, go through here and you can see all the fields that you might want to add. Like, let's say for an example, okay, I want to add, I want to know their occupation, right? So I'm going to go occupation, and I'm going to put that in there, just like so. Okay, so I'll do that for Tim's. All right, so then I'll go for occupation. So I've got this sheet. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go exec, right? And then I'm going to go into Zapier. I'm going to type in webhook by Zapier, or Zapier, how do we call it? Catch hook. Continue. Continue. And then I'm going to grab this little URL here, and I'm going to go over to administrator and paste this in. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to my Zapier and make sure that's all loaded. So that's cool. So I'm going to go to save, just like so, and that's going to save it straight away, and go to test trigger. And it's got my first test in here so I can map out the fields, right? So here you can see there's probably more fields that come through, but you can see here all the fields that it shows as an example. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, based off this, I can build the next stage. I'm going to go to continue, Google Sheets, and I'm going to go to new spreadsheet row, continue. It's making me do the sheets again. Let me just sign in. Allow, choose my account, continue. Now, Erwa recently said, hey, I've got my sheets and I picked the sheet, but the fields aren't exactly, so let's say for an example, I choose this one. And let's say that when I chose the worksheet and I was like, oh shit, I haven't done my headers, right? So I didn't see my headers in here, and I went back and updated them. So let's say, for an example, I wanted to put another header here, so example, and then I go back to my Zapier and I'm like, oh, it's not there. Like, what do I do? Just click refresh fields. And if it still doesn't show up, what you need to do is you need to actually refresh the Zap. Usually you can do refresh fields and it will show up, but sometimes Zapier is weird. So what I'll do is I have to just create this Zap again. It's just because it's not picking up that row, okay? All right, so I'm going to put this data in. So this is the minimum data that I need to get the high match rate on Facebook. So I'm going to go here, date created. So I'll do updated at email, SHA-256, phone number, gender. It's crazy we can still get this type of data in 2022. I don't think I'd be able to get gender. Date of birth. No, hang on. Date of birth. Let me see what date of birth would actually be. I'll come back to that one because I'm not sure what to put for date of birth. I'll just double check we have that. So first name. You'll still be fine if you put in these parameters. Date of birth is just an added extra. Last name, city, zip, country, not country music, country name, IP address. I think I'll just double check, but I'm pretty sure it's just IP there. Oh, I've got gender in twice, so don't worry about that. And URL. Okay, so if you want to see what URL the person came from, type in URL. And it's actually going to be what's called site URL. Oop. Where is it? site URL. Okay, see there, or it says site URL. If you type in URL, it might just send you the URL that the lead came from. Okay, which is different from the so there's two different ones. There's URL, and that shows you where the data came from. Okay, because we're connected to all these different sites like Best Buy and different lead magnets from different larger companies. And what it does is, as people fill out those forms, it tests that data. Okay, so if you put in URL, it's going to show you where the actual data came from, and it'll actually show you the lead magnet and the site it came from, and it's cross-referenced. So that's why you might see like random sites, like credit sites and things like that. So make sure you click site URL. And let's see if we can do occupation. Occupation. Okay. All right. So go to my fields, and I'm going to go to continue. And I've only just set this one up, so it might not populate just yet. So I'm going to go to test and review, make sure that all shows up in here. Cool. Get rid of that to make sure that I don't have that. All right, and I'm going to publish Zap, and that's going to be good to go. So I'm going to call this exec upgrades. Publish Zap. Okay, so I published my Zap, and hang on. Oh, okay. I got to validate my email address. You guys won't have that. It's just because I only just logged in and cleared my cookies. But so you just publish the Zap, and then you're good to go. Okay. So that's how I did this. If you see here. Now, if you come in, you look, and it's spotty as all hell, and you're like, man, I'm getting like 2 leads every 10 rows. Alarm bells. You might be going from the old table. We're going to fix this by deleting the old table permanently, which means you won't have this anymore. But if we do that, we lose all the data. So just bear with us. If this happens, just let us know, and we'll be able to actually get you on the new table. Using this schedule with an email extension, my match rate is strong, but the majority of identities probably ads that don't match the actual leads. I'll answer that one at the end, Andy, because I think I might have a solution to that. Okay. All right. So I've got all my identities populating in here. So then what I'm going to do is let's do it manually on Facebook first, and then I'll show you guys how to do it automatically and so forth. So create a new tab. I'm going to call this uniques. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to get, I'll put up an SOP of how you can actually automatically get out any uniques, any duplicates or anything like that. But I'll just show you guys how I'll just do it for now if I want to just do an audience in Facebook. So I'll just go to where it says extensions, add-ons, duplicates, and just go to remove duplicates. And then I'll just get this one here. It's got like 3 million downloads. And then I'll just create a new tab here. And I will post this how to do this automatically because there's something you can do inside of Zapier. And you can also do it inside of Integromat. So now I've got all my uniques. Okay. Then what I'll do is I'll just, if I don't want to have any spaces, because remember it is getting all the website visitors in this particular one. I'm just going to go to here. Oops, create filter. And I'm just going to make sure it doesn't show me any blanks. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to go to File, Download, and I'm going to do it as a CSV. Now, when I go into Facebook, so I'm going to show you how to upload the audience into Facebook. So I'm going to go to Business. Facebook changes their infrastructure, like their interface, like all the time, so it can be super annoying. Oh, okay. Thank you, Larissa. You can always use that formula. All right, I'll go through that and I'll document and put that in the SOP for everybody, because then you can just do that and just have it pop it automatically. I usually use just like a Zap. So So what we want to do is you want to go to where it says all tools. We're going to go to audiences. Now I'm going to download this one so you guys can see my example. Hang on, let me grab it up. New file. And let's just save that, just like so. Okay, so audiences. Let me do ad account I don't often use. Okay, so I'm going to go to create audience, custom audience, customer list. Next. What I'm going to do is, that's all fine. I'm going to go to next. I don't have the customer value, so don't worry about that. And then what I'm going to do is going to go upload, and I'm going to show you how to match the fields, because people are like, what do I do with the SHA-256? So I'll show you. All right, so this is going to be, I don't have any data in this one, but I'm going to go to that one. Okay, go to next. Now, you can see here, so it's mapped the zip code, it's mapped the country, that's fine. Action needed, I've got to map all these. So what happens is you actually get, I'm pretty sure, I mean, last time I checked like 2 days ago, you still get 2 email fields, and that helps you be able to, if it like can't find one email, goes to the next one, that's going to really help your match rate. Ryan, this is just how to do it manually. I'm going to show you the automated way in a second. Just like kind of Mr. Miyagi, like showing you, okay, here's how you do it, and then I'll show you how to do it automatically. I don't expect you to do this each time. But some people are like, hey, I've got 1,000 rows. Let's build a lookalike. Let's go. So you're going to go to date created. Oh, you actually don't need date created. All right, so that's just mainly for your internal use. So you got email. That's fine. It's going to have an error because it just says test value, not an actual email. So it's not going to work. SHA-256, put that in the email field. Okay, so I've got 2 emails, right? This is going to help my match rate a lot. Phone number, that's good. Gender. Date of birth, I don't have that, so leave that. First name. Last name. Gender, URL, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import and create. I'm not going to click that because it's going to do virtually nothing because it just says test values. And that's going to create my audience. All right. So I want to wait till I have at least 1,000 emails before I start building an audience, because otherwise Facebook's not going to be able to do much with it. Now, because I'm putting the SHA-256 and the email in here, because I've got 2 email rows, I'm expecting to get a pretty high match rate from that audience. All right. So let's see what I got mapped so far. First name, city, zip, country. I think there's some more ones here. Let me see here. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. So it's not showing that because I have it as the example. So it says test values. It's not going to actually pick it up. But for you, you'll be able to see it. You should have all those fields. You should have about like 7 fields here. And that's good. You're going to get a good match rate off that. So I'm going to import and create. And then I have my custom audience. All right. Now, what I want to do is I want to create that into lookalikes. Most of you know how to create lookalikes, but I'm just going to go into that really quick and show you. Okay, so let me see here. Let's say add to wish list, right? Well, let's just say this is an audience that I wanted to create. I'm going to go to here. So what you want to do is you want to click on here, go to create lookalike. All right, now this is the easiest way to create lookalikes in the world. What I like to do is you just go here, put this on 6. All right, now you want to move these across. This is how we teach VAs to do it. So this is what you want to do for your lookalikes. First of all, you want to have your lookalikes tight. So you want to have 0 to 1, and then 1 to 2. Then you want to have 2 to 4, 4 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10. Okay, that I find is the best way to do lookalikes. And I've tested a ton of ways to do lookalikes. I mean, a lot of people overthink this. 6, and then I have 0 to 1%. So that means I got like the 0 to 1% of people, and then 1 to 2%. So this is going to be like your most potent part of the lookalike here. But sometimes these are actually going to perform better because they're broader. Okay. Now this lookalike is going to be quite powerful, particularly if I'm using both emails, right? Like you might find, you might have an aha moment right now. You might find that if you get a list of emails and you just upload them, the match rate is just awful as shit, right? What you want to do is you've got 2 emails that Facebook gives you. You actually have 2 numbers as well. So add that into your data that you have for the Google Sheet, and you add that in, and you'll get a really high match rate. All right. So I got that. Audience location, United States. Usually, I think this actually does this automatically now. I'll put those United States. All right. So I'm going to go to create lookalike. And then I've created my lookalike audience from my data. Okay. And that is a custom way to do it. So does everybody understand that? Give me a yes or give me a no if you don't understand. All right. Cool. Okay, so let's get into the automated way to do it. So there's a few ways to do it. You can actually automate it directly. You can do things like high level, right? So you can get all those fields, push it to high level. I'll upload that as a separate SOP because I'm just checking to make sure the conversion, it doesn't mess with the conversion API in terms of what I'm showing as an example. What I'll show you how to do is do it through something called Customer Labs. Okay, now Customer Labs is a CDP, right? So a CDP is just a fancy way of saying a CRM for all your data. So somebody asked me the other day, he said, I want to have all this data collected. Do I put it in my Google Sheet? Like where do I put it where I have it, because Facebook, it doesn't hold your data, right? Like if you, let's say for an example, I run 1,000 hits to a website, okay, 1,000 clicks or 1,000 view contents, and I paid $1 for each one of those view contents or 30 cents or whatever. Facebook isn't going to pixel and remember all those people. It's only going to remember like a very small percentage of those people. So this is why it takes you so long to be able to build retargeting audiences. So I'm going to show you how to fix that with Customer Labs. So what you're going to do is you're going to sign up for an account on Customer Labs. Now this is pretty cheap. It's like honestly like $90 for like 500,000 hits. And I'll check with Vishnu to make sure we have like a good plan for the Ads Lab members, but you can use that across like all of your clients. Events here, they don't have like added data or anything like that, but that's totally fine. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do send data to destinations. Now I'm going to go to send data to Facebook. I'm going to put my Facebook pixel in here. I'm going to do the second one here. I'm just going to go to continue with Facebook. Just on this Australian internet. Continue with Adam. I'm going to do on, pick your account and submit. All right, that's on there. Now I'm going to click yes. Okay, now if you see this here, this is where you're going to match up those fields later. And this can get a little bit tricky, but I'll show you exactly how this works. So you're going to go save changes. Make sure that is good there. Save changes. Then you're just going to do and send server side. Oh, okay, I got to do my first automations before I can do that. All right, so I'm going to go to set up workflow. Now what I'm going to do is make sure these are on, like so, right? That I'm sending server-side callbacks for all these events. That's all good there. And make sure this is all happening. So this is just connecting it to Facebook. All right. So what is happening now is if I do the no-code tracker, what's going to happen is basically that event, it's just matching up more data to that event inside Customer Labs. Now, if I want to do audiences, this is where the Ads Lab stuff comes in. So I go to audience. And you can see I've got audiences coming through. Well, no audiences here yet, but what I'm going to do is go here. So that's what my audience is going to be. And I'm going to go to, whoops, done. I'm going to go to where it says sources. connect source. And I'm going to go to custom source. We do have a ads lab thing coming up here shortly. And we're going to go to ads lab. Save that. And you've got the webhook URL. So I'm going to copy that. And we'd go through that process again. Okay, so I'll do this now. There's my webhook, my latest one. Actually, I'll create a new one. I'm just going to pick any site. Okay, enable, and I'm going to go save in step 2. I'm going to add the webhook here, save that. It's going to, because I have a different site, they're not the same ones. But anyway, once I copy that and I go to workflow setup, save that, no delay, and then choose sample data, right? And fetch new data. And then save there. And what's going to happen is, I just chose like a random one. What's going to happen is it's going to show you the data here. Okay, so it's going to show the data pop up. It's because I'm using my test sheet. And then you're going to go to filter incoming data. Oops. In here. And then you have the rows to be able to just match up the columns, right? And then when you click destinations and you've set up your Facebook and you sync it, then when you come over to here into audiences, you're going to be able to see the audiences pop up here. Okay. Does everybody understand that in terms of the basic custom lab setup? I will film another SOP showing you guys a walkthrough for one of our accounts. I just got to get the client to approve it before I show his name and everything. Let me have a look here. You can also do this through high level 2 and through Zapier. All right, let me have a look. Okay. Could you drop demo session ID how to get just one more time, please? Try this customer support suggesting here. Okay, so session ID. All right. So session ID. Let me go to here. It would be. So let's just say session ID was here. Should be session ID, I believe, will come through user ID. Let me just double check. It'll be visitor ID, and that's how you're going to pull session ID in, right? That's going to be matching it up based on what Matomo has. If that doesn't come through, I'll double check, but it should come through user ID, and that's what session ID is going to be. Okay, sending directly to Zapier. All you have to do here is just add this extra button here. I'm going to go to Facebook. There, then it's custom audiences. All right, so you need the premium feature for that. So you click on custom audiences. And then all you have to do is create custom audience. So if you have an audience already that you create and you want to add it, just do email to custom audience, or if you want to just create a new custom audience, and yeah. So what I would do is I would create it inside of Facebook first and then add email to custom audience. I'll connect my account. And just give that a minute. Let me see. So it may not let you, let me have a look here. Yeah, so you're saying it's only going to let you use email? Yeah, this is what I don't like about using it, doing it through Zapier, is it does only let you use your email. I was trying to see if we could change that. What I would do is I would actually use the SHA-256 if you have to choose. If you have to choose an email or SHA-256, I would go SHA-256, and you should still get an okay match rate. It just wouldn't be as great as if you use all the fields. Right? So just like that. And then you can actually just run that, and that will still auto update the audience, but it will just be the SHA-256, right? So SHA-256, not email if you have to choose. Because the SHA-256 has the highest chance of being like the updated email, and it's like the encrypted one. And Facebook has better chance of matching it and accepting it. Sometimes if you just upload the raw data, Facebook, it's weird. It doesn't match it as well as it would. A SHA-256 is just an encrypted email. Okay. Facebook conversions for business admins. So Facebook conversions for business admins is a little bit different. I'll go into that. This is going to be more about the actual events setup. So not audiences per se. So if I go, I believe you're talking about this one here. This is to send more data to the event, not create an audience, which is a little bit different. So I'm going to go through that in a separate SOP. I want to focus today mainly on the audiences and how to pipe the audiences into Facebook. Okay, so the first way is you can just literally download it and you just upload it, right? And if you are, I would say under 2K a month spend, right? And you've got a client where it's like you're not spending a lot on ads and you want to have cheaper ad costs, I would literally just collect 1,000 leads and then upload that and create a lookalike, and that lookalike is going to perform really well. Sometimes even have to be 1,000, sometimes 500 still works, but I would say 1,000 is a sweet spot. Okay. The integration I just showed you with Customer Labs, if you set it up on your account, it will work. All you have to do is basically go to Customer Labs. So let's just reframe, go to Customer Labs, and you want to go to audience, sort of sources, connect source, custom source, put in the source name, next workflow, data selection, map out the data, and then connect to your destinations. Okay. And that's what you do for your Customer Labs. And then you can map out more rows, and then it'll show up in your Customer Labs account, in your Facebook account. And it will just have a little, as you can see with mine. If I go to here and I go to MBA leads. It will say powered by Customer Labs, and you'll see that audience continually update. So that's the Customer Labs way. The third way, it may not have as high a match, but it's a lot easier. All you do is when you're setting up your webhook, just have it where you go to Facebook conversions, Facebook audiences. And then add email audience, and then just add that to a custom audience. Make sure you use the SHA-256, okay? Reason being is because the SHA-256 is already hashed, so Facebook has a higher chance of accepting it. I won't get into the exact details of why that works, but it's just going to be a more updated email than the raw email itself. It's going to have a higher match rate. I think Vishnu actually did make it. Let me just double check. If not, I do have a separate SOP coming out for TikTok. I know he is adding it. I don't think so, but there should be a way that we can actually like push it through. Okay. All right. So let's recap. When you want to upload an audience inside of Facebook, either wait for it to go and then download it directly and add it in, use the Zapier and use the SHA-256, or Customer Labs, and then you just have to go through that manual setup that I did. And all you have to do is basically install the tag, go into audiences, put in the webhook, match the fields, and then sync it. Okay. Now, quick little bonus, if you guys are about that. What if you want to build a really powerful audience, right? What I would suggest is go to this website here. This is what I use for all my campaigns when I'm getting the data ready. If I don't have any data, I don't have an in-market or anything like that, and I'll explain stuff on in-markets in a second, I go to this site here, Audiencer. The reason why I use Audiencer is it shows me interest that exists inside of Facebook that Facebook doesn't show me. Right, so I go to Audiencer, and I'm going to go to new audience, ads lab, sessions, test. I'm going to type in something here like dog food, dogs, dog toy, save and continue. Now, what's cool about this is this just helps you find a stack of hyper relevant interests. So search interest, I'm going to go to like dog. And it's going to give me a whole bunch of interests around dogs, right? So let me just pick a few here. So blah, 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 dogs, 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 dogs. Now, what's cool is when I go to saved interests and I click on all of these, it gives me this little option here, that little button there. And it suggests a whole bunch of interests like pedigree foods, gravy trains. And now I've got like wellness, natural food for dogs and cats. So I've got all these interests that are going to perform really well. These interests always perform so well for me. So if I set up a campaign and I have interests, right? So I use these hyper targeted interests, but I have my pixel on the other side. What I'm going to do is once I get that list to about 1,000, that's going to be a really, really good audience for me to use for lookalikes. So if you're doing local and you don't have anything, like new ad account, no nothing, what I would suggest is go on to Audiencer, pick a bunch of interests, create an audience, right? Have the pixel set up, run ads to that. That's going to be able to pick up a ton of leads and then upload that to Facebook. Lookalike it. That's going to be a powerful as fuck audience. All right. Another little tidbit I'll give you guys as well. There's another website called Deep Sync Labs. What these guys do is it's kind of like Oracle. It's a little bit different. Now, our in-markets will pretty much be, or the in-markets are going to be a lot more tailored. But in the meantime, this is another good thing you can do as well. If you go into here, what you can do is this gives you audiences directly off LiveRamp and Oracle, right? So if I log in here, I'm not sure if I still have an account. Let me just double check because it was a minute ago that I started this. I don't think I do. No, I don't. But if you log in here, what it will do is it will give you audiences based on people with high credit scores, audiences based on people that have, it's more demographic data. But let's say, for example, if you're in mortgage and you're like, I need to find an audience that has a really high credit score, go in there. It will show you the audiences that have the highest credit score pulled off the LiveRamp data feed. It'll pipe it directly to Facebook as a custom audience. Then you run that to your pixel and then it'll pick up those identities and use that as a lookalike, right? That's another way to do it. You just got to think like the pixel unlocks a whole new way of audience building because you can do, you know, audience filtering, audience laundering. You can start off with a little sample of interest or something like that. And then you just run it, collect traffic, and then re-upload it. And then you'll have a high match rate of audiences. One more thing. If you really want to get like the highest match rate possible, we do use these guys as part of our graph. But if you want to do something, you know, on the side or something like that, I don't think it's fully necessary. But what you can do is you can go to a website here called Versium. Now, what Versium does is it takes, I swear I can hear somebody snoring. Oh man, I didn't realize it was that boring. Okay, all you can do here is you can go to Versium, and it's like 5 cents per email that you upload in here. So say you have an audience of 1,000 and you want to make sure that has like the highest hit rate possible. You can use this to be able to, what it will do is it will ping on each email and it will show you whether it's the right email for that person.